What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Me TV Reviews. I am your host, Mo, and today, y'all, I'm a little nervous. Okay, and I'm gonna tell y'all why before we get started. First off, I hope you guys had a wonderful week thus far. Y'all, we made it to Friday. But the way I started off my Friday, y'all, I saw, I think, a brown recluse in my closet, y'all. And I tried to spray it because it was in a place where I couldn't physically reach it. And y'all, it fell somewhere and I cannot find it. So y'all know that's where I normally record, right? So I'm a little on edge today, okay? But if y'all hear me scream, just know that that's why. Now, this was earlier in the day, so I sprayed it and I'm going to assume that it's dead. But the seasons is changing, y'all, so it's time to bomb the house because everybody trying to stay warm for the winter, okay? So without further ado, we are going to be discussing St. Denis Medical, y'all. This right. This is season 1, episodes 1 and 2. I'm going to try to get them both in the same one, y'all, but we'll see how long they run. Now, normally the episodes would run about 20 to 25 minutes long, like Papa's House. So I should be able to hopefully get both of these in the same one. And then we're going to be discussing Cross, y'all. I'm working on it. But the Tyson and Jake Paul fight is happening tonight as well. So you may get Cross after I watch that fight. I ain't gonna hold y'all, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead, get into the synopsis for the first one, and then we're going to get right into the episode. So this is episode 1 titled Welcome to St. Denis. The synopsis for this one is Alex is torn between her daughter's school play and an all-hands situation in the emergency department. Joyce spends the hospital's limited funds on a fancy mammography machine, and Matt's first day as a nurse isn't going as he'd hoped. That Matt, he gotta be fresh out of school. Did he even finish his clinicals? We gonna figure it out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So we begin the episode with Alex, who is the charge nurse for this particular hospital. And we see her as she's discharging this patient who is a frequent flyer for ODing, unfortunately. Now, this is like his 3rd or 4th time that he done been up in there, and thankfully they've been able to bring him back. But she's saying, you keep playing around like this, you keep flirting with death, you keep on dancing with it, and eventually your legs gonna get tired, okay, along with the rest of your body. You're gonna have to sit down and quit doing this mess. She done ended up grabbing him some snacks, and she gave him some contacts for him to try to stay sober and get somewhere where he can get into a program or something. Now, she done tried to test him, y'all, before he left the hospital to see what he was going to say. And she was like, look, if you stay sober out there in the streets, I can get you all the drugs you want in here. And he was like, okay. And she was like, no, fool, that was a test. You wasn't supposed to say okay. See, you failed the test. And he was like, my bad. I didn't even know that we was starting. We was starting already. So we're then introduced to Joyce, who is the executive director of the hospital. Now, she used to be an oncologist, but she has since moved on up in the world, okay? And so she's kind of like Ava from Abbott Elementary. If you watch Abbott Elementary, she sort of puts you in the mind frame of her. As a matter of fact, the whole way this show is shot sort of kind of puts you in the mind frame of Abbott Elementary, except for it's a different setting, okay? There's a school. This is a hospital. So as she's starting to share her aspirations for the hospital, she also tells us how she wants to expand it out. She then bumps into Dr. Ron, who is being played by none other than Mr. David Allen Greer. I was so excited it ran together. And so David Allen Greer is playing Dr. Ron. And he says while it only took him a few minutes to finish performing this procedure that he just did, it's going to take him way more time to chart said procedure. And that's how it usually is nowadays. You can go in and do something with the patient for like 5 minutes, and it's going to take you about 10 to chart the whole thing. And honestly, you probably recharting a lot of that stuff depending on what system you're using in your hospital. Okay? I ain't going to put no hospital systems on blast, but it's a lot of them out there where you're recharting. Anywho, he says that he used to love his job, but now he done got so bogged down with all this technology stuff, he don't enjoy it no more. He's honestly ready to retire. But the other doctor that we're introduced to, Dr. Bruce, y'all, he love everything about it, especially all the praise that he gets for being so gifted. He's like a clueless narcissist almost. Is that a thing? Is that even doable? Anywho, they catch up to Alex, who is filling Nurse Serena in on the newly hired nurse, which is Matt, that's expected to come sometime today. Now, he's supposed to be coming from a different state. And y'all, Serena was like, "Ooh, I can't wait to meet him. Maybe it's some new eye candy coming." And she humping the air and all of that. And so, speaking of him, he's trying to check in on time, y'all. But as soon as he hit the door to the hospital, there is a long line. Now, I don't know if St. Denis is the only medical facility around for miles and miles, amen, but this line is longer than Lishy, okay? So, that's a long street where I'm from. So, up at up at the front of the counter is the registrar person, and she is being so rude to this lady that's trying to get checked in. Now, granted, this lady may be telling her whatever the hell she wanted to hear to a certain extent, because she did mention some leg pain, and then the registrar lady was like, "Oh, well, that's not as bad as the person that's more critical than you." And she was like, "Oh, but I'm hurting there too." So we don't know if she making it up or she being truthful. However, Matt is trying to get to his destination. And she said, "Oh, are you hurting?" And he was like, "No." And he's trying to explain. And she was like, she don't even give him a chance. She told him to get to the back of the line. You gonna be waiting just like everybody else. Yeah, he gonna be late on his first day. Quite the impression, huh? So Alex is also trying to prep Serena because Alex is supposed to be leaving to go to her daughter's performance of Mamma Mia. I feel like she's got two kids. She's got two kids, but I don't know if they're both girls. Anywho, she's supposed to be trying to get to this performance soon. So she's trying to give Serena the rundown before she leave, just in case something happens so she can finish the rest of the shift without no hiccups, right? So back to Joyce. Joyce is bragging about ordering this top-of-the-line mammography machine because although they're a small hospital, they will hopefully be bringing in more patient traffic with this mammography machine, because you got to get the tatas checked out, okay? Especially if you are of a certain age, it's time for you to get them looked at. So hopefully with them bringing this new machine in, it's going to bring in more traffic, which will help them fund more things for the hospital. So the people that are there to install it try to warn her that this particular machine requires a certain amount of voltage that needs to be used while this machine is plugged up. And they're concerned because this is a teeny tiny hospital, no shade, but we usually put these types of machines in much larger hospitals. And so she was like, "Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We good." But y'all, as soon as they plug it in, the effect is felt immediately because the system goes down just like that, which sends Alex into a panic because now she got to stay and fix all of this, right? She can't leave her crew like this. Now, Joyce calls everybody into the conference room for a meeting where she tells them that IT is diligently working on this issue, but Ron knows what the issue is and calls her out in front of everybody. "I saw you sneak that damn mammography machine up in here." Now, he didn't say that, but that's what he was saying on the inside. But he did call her out for that machine. And he was like, "We ain't got no money to replace these antique looking ass computers, but you can spend $200,000 on a fancy new machine? How? How?" So Ron and Serena are still trying to get Alex out of there because, I mean, they really want her to go to this performance. Hell, you at work most of the time. Go invest in your kids, ma'am. You did have them for 9 months, 8 or 9 months. They was cooking in there. Put some time back into them. But it seems her window of opportunity all but vanishes once Joyce spots her in the crowd, where she then instructs the staff to go back to paper charting and downtime sheets. So now, for those that aren't familiar with that system, Alex now has to tell them how to go about doing this. She not gonna make it to the play, y'all. Matt finally arrives on the floor with some two big scrubs to help, and he just looks so lost, y'all. Poor Matt. So Joyce pulls Ron to the side to ask him to not call her out like that anymore in front of everybody. And he finds out that she actually spent way more than $200,000 on this new machine. So he goes to triage one of the patients that done rolled up in there that's waiting to be seen when Bruce comes over and starts asking all these random ass questions like, have you been out of the country lately? Did you drink any dirty water? Where did you go? Did you get bit by any mosquitoes while you was gone? And the patient is looking at him like, no, man, I ain't been nowhere within the last 48 to 72 hours. I ain't been nowhere in the last 48 to 72 months. You don't leave me alone and get out my face. Ron looking at him like, man, you wasted time, bro. Anywho, just doing way too much. But he says that as a physician, as a doctor, it's not just the doctor role that they are required to fill. They are detectives almost, okay? Because they have to figure out what's going on with your body, what's attacking it, and how to make it go away, how to fix it. So he trying to be the best doctor detective that he can be. Detective doctor? We'll get a name in just a minute. So Alex ends up getting a phone call from her husband that one of the girls got one of the major roles in Mamma Mia. So this is even more pressing for her to get there. She needs to leave like right now. Meanwhile, Matt is still struggling. And I'm just like, what school did you say you got your degree at? Because, y'all, he tried to administer a shot of insulin to a patient, and he ended up dosing himself because he had it turned the wrong way. How? Now, I ain't go to school for nursing, but I damn sure know how to administer some insulin. I didn't even do no clinicals for that. How did you? Okay. It's a different vendor, different manufacturer than what you used to. Okay. So Joyce is getting ready to sign off on the payment for this new machine, but she's still skeptical about spending this amount of money. It's kind of like buyer's remorse. You know how you buy something and then you're like, should I have really spent that much? And so then you trying to take it back. She ain't even signed off on it yet before she done got buyer's remorse. All right. And she trying to find little things to stall. And she was like, wait a minute. Is that a scuff? What is that right there? So Alex is finally leaving the hospital after Ron diagnoses her with being a workaholic who loves to be in control. And honestly, she wants to stay at the hospital as long as she can to boost her level of self-importance, because if you left and nothing happened, then you wouldn't feel as important as you felt like you should. Go, girl, go. Ain't nothing gonna happen while you gone. Now, although he says that he wants the best for her, when he's doing his little interview on the side, he projects about some personal situations that done happened in his own life. He was like, I just don't want her to, get divorced and then she be out here living in a condo by herself with the only thing that brings her some sheer happiness is ordering milkshakes, which he had ordered earlier in the episode. So we clearly knew that he was talking about himself. He's having a hard time, y'all. He needs to get back into the love game. So Alex is on her way out the door. She inching closer and closer to the door. And Matt is trying to get some help for his excessive heartbeat. Yeah. You might want to get that handle before you hit the flow. They may have to get the paddles out in a second. And so while she's actually getting in her car, she spots the woman who was at the front of the line earlier in the episode, right? And so she looks really worse for wear at this point than when she first did at the beginning of the episode. And suddenly, y'all, she collapses. She collapses in the parking lot. So now, of course, Alex has to go back and help her, right? So they get her back in the hospital and start to perform these life-saving measures on her. And poor Matt, y'all, he's given a task to call for a code blue, and he don't even know how to work the damn intercom button. He didn't do it right. But it's his first day, so I'm going to give him some grace, all right? So somebody else should have did that and made him do compressions. They should have swapped out or something because you're supposed to do that every 2 minutes anyway. So, anywho, the code is underway. And the delivery dude that's trying to still drop off this damn machine, he's trying to get Joyce to sign for the payment process. Y'all, she completely abandons him when she sees what's happening, and she calls for a code blue to get everybody else in the emergency room to help out. So it turns out, y'all, both Ron and Bruce were right. They ended up saving the woman. Now, Ron thought that she was suffering from a pulmonary embolism that had traveled to her lungs. And then Bruce was saying that she already had pneumonia, or it caused her lung to collapse. Okay, so it was a combination of the two. And although it's very rare to happen at the same time, Bruce claims that he has seen it happen before during the peak of the vid. Okay. So later on, when everything is died down, Matt is kind of down on himself because he feels like he didn't really live up to his potential today. And although Serena tries to cut him some slack, saying how he shouldn't be so hard on himself, in her side interview, she says that he absolutely sucks. He gonna get fired. It's just a matter of when. But if you ask him, y'all, in his little side interview, he was like, I was thinking that nursing was not my jam. I didn't know if this was going to work out for me until today, because I think I done found the love of my life. Shout out to Erica. Okay. He think he done found the one in Serena. You just met this lady. She don't even like you like that. So Alex is still trying to make this performance, but now her battery done died in her car. It just ain't meant to happen. So she's trying to get somebody to help her jump it off, right? When this random man comes up to her in the parking lot, and she was like, sorry, sir. I don't have the time to get assaulted today, right now. I just don't have the time. And he was like, are you the one that saved my wife? Y'all, this is the husband of the lady that collapsed in the parking lot. And so he goes up to Alex and he just gives her the biggest hug, and he cries on her shoulder for a split second. And all of a sudden, the chaos of today, all of it was just made worthwhile with just this one thing. And so Ron comes out with that just in case hazelnut milkshake that she had declined earlier and helps her jump her car off. And finally, Joyce wraps up the show speaking to how she loves her staff, because although they may not have the fanciest hospital, all of the staff put in every effort every day to go above and beyond. And that's all that she can ask for as a director. And just know that she gonna keep on squeezing people for them funds, because them vacuums is loud as hell. And to top it all off, y'all, once she finished her little interview, I guess she must have checked an email or something like that. Y'all, they done sent her an invoice for the restocking fee for the mammography machine. Oh, damn. So that was the end of the first episode, y'all, right? It was cute, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the second episode, which is titled A Very Robust Personal Life. Now, the synopsis for this one is, Joyce's belief that personal life should stay out of the workplace is tested by unexpected news. Ron thinks a patient has a crush on him, and Bruce tries to demonstrate the value of his important work. Oh, that is very self-serving. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it. Let me check and see how much time I got left. Yeah, I got plenty of time. Okay. So we begin this episode with Bruce prepping to repair a man's femur in the operating room. But before they do, he wants to take a quick timeout, because that's what you're supposed to do anyway. You're supposed to take a timeout, but it's supposed to be making sure that you have the right patient, the right location, the right procedure, all of that, right? But instead, y'all, he takes this time out to play a little bit of Beastie Boys to get his mental ready for the task that is at hand. And so on the side, we got the nurses watching, and they're like, you know what? we could have got 3 additional surgeries done if he wasn't pulling these type of shenanigans. We could have had 3 additional surgeries done this week. But here he go with this mess again. Now, meanwhile, Joyce is trying to run her quarterly report by Alex prior to her meeting with the bigwigs. And she's frustrated at Alex because Alex is on the phone with her mama-in-law. Her mama-in-law done got bamboozled by some swindler overseas, right? She done got scammed. Done got catfished. And so Alex is like, I'm on the phone, yeah, she talking to her mama-in-law. And Joyce is like, girl, oh, you having personal phone calls? Oh, you on the phone, you taking personal time? Oh, okay. I'll just be over here in the cut, not doing nothing because I'm waiting on you to get off the phone. Real passive aggressive, right? And so Alex finally gets off the phone, and Joyce tells her that she feels like personal stuff should be left at the hospital doors because she does it all the time. She knows how to compartmentalize. So Joyce tells us about her very robust personal life that she has outside of work that nobody knows about because, again, that's personal. But she has weekly music recitals for the marimba, which is that big old xylophone thing. I never knew what it was called. I just called it a giant xylophone, like a life-size xylophone. So she has weekly recitals for that. She makes her own bone broth. She practices knots. She does like knotting, like the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts would do. She does that. And she's also a mugger, not like a criminal mugger, but she makes her own mugs. Yes, she does have that much time on her hands. She needs a significant other. She got hobbies. You need a significant other, ma'am. You got way too much time on your hands. Now, Ron is wrapping up treatment for a personal trainer that came in because she has sprung her leg, right? And he believes that she may be flirting with him when she mentions that he looks like he's in shape for his age. Oh, girl, why you try to say something nice to him? Anybody that look pretty that say something nice to Ron, he probably feel like they flirting with him all the time. So the topic of organ donation comes up when Matt stumbles upon this patient that has transitioned to the upper room, but is still hooked up to machines because they're waiting on the people to come and retrieve some of this patient's organs. Okay, he's an organ donor. So where Matt's from, being an organ donor is frowned upon because he's got preconceived notions about it, right? But he quickly changes his stance once he hears the opinions of Serena and Val because they don't understand why people wouldn't want to donate their organs. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that? So he claims to go do some research real quick, like in a matter of 5 minutes, and has since had a change of heart. Now he wants to get some more questions answered about this organ donation thing. He's kind of fascinated about it at this point. So Ron comes to ask their opinion of the personal trainer having eyes for him. And while the girls seem very skeptical about it, Matt sides with him on the account that this lady may just have a case of very low self-esteem. Damn, Matt. I mean, why couldn't you just side with the girls and be like, nah, she might not be into you? You didn't have to say that. That's worse to me. So speaking of organ donations, Joyce and Alex are getting ready to go in the meeting when they run into the wife of Joyce's marimba instructor. And while she usually likes to keep these things separate because, again, this is personal, she starts to brag on her instructor. But she's momentarily speechless when his wife informs her that her husband passed away this morning after he suddenly collapsed. And so she says, I'm just up here to sign off on the paperwork. Now, I wonder if this guy is the same person that Matt was talking about was hooked up to the machines even though he had died. Probably is. So Alex tries to do the right thing and check in on her and see how she's doing, make sure that she's okay. But it's clear that Joyce wants to try her best to compartmentalize her hurt. She was like, yep, I'm good. Back to work. Like, she didn't hear this lady just tell her that her instructor, that her favorite instructor, her mentor, had died. Okay. Ron is instructing the personal trainer what to do post discharge, and she straight up asked him if he's single. Because you would be a really good catch for my grandma. You thought you had a honey dip. Meanwhile, Matt goes to talk to Bruce about the process of organ harvesting, because he's got those preconceived notions that if you're a donor, then of course the medical staff will be less motivated to fight to keep you alive, because organ donating is very essential. It's very crucial, very critical right now. So he thinks that if you got that checked on the back of your ID, they're not going to want to fight for your life. They're going to want to let you go on and go to the upper room so they can pull your eyes out, so they can grab that heart and transport it to the next patient real quick. Okay. But after answering a few questions that clearly refute those claims, he tells him to get the hell out of his office, because you irritating Bruce at this point. And so Bruce, for the rest of the episode, goes on this hunt to try to find the perfect patient to explain why he does what he does. Okay. So the first person that he went to was this elderly man. And he was finna get ready to have a pelvic surgery done or something like that. And so he was like, yeah, we're going to try to do what we can to get this man back to some hard work. And he was like, oh, I'm a banker. He was like, oh, okay, that's good. You helping people get in the right direction. He was like, no, I foreclose on homes. And he was like, oh, maybe it's for the rich folks. And he was like, no, they got way more money than that. I foreclose on the homes for families and single parents. Oh, you going to hell? He was like, no, we don't want to talk to him. I'm not doing your surgery neither. And so after Bruce had told him to get out the office, I do feel like to a certain extent that a lot of people have that fear. I've seen both instances where the people that do come in to retrieve the organs, they come in really fast. Like, before the family members sometimes can even process what's happening to their loved one. But some people stay hooked up to those machines too long, and then stuff starts to go left as far as like organ failure. And then by that time, it's too late to even retrieve them because they done went bad. So it's a really hard catch-22. So I can kind of understand. It's a tightrope. So Joyce is still trying to keep a smile on her face despite the hurt. But you can tell, like I said, that she's overcompensating because she's being hella nice to everybody. I mean, like, nicer than usual. Alex, please go hug that lady. She needs to cry on somebody's shoulder. So she runs into Matt, who is shell-shocked because he just witnessed the whole harvesting process for who she assumes was her instructor. And y'all, when Matt was telling her what he had saw, he didn't hold back at all, okay? She had to damn near curse that man out to get him to stop describing how awful the procedure was. She had to hit him with the Braxton, like put her hand up in his face and tell him to stop. Where is Braxton now? Braxton P. Hartner-Brigg. Anyway, Ron is introduced to personal trainer's grandma, and it's none other than the beautiful legend herself, Miss Lynn Whitfield, y'all. And so I was like, man, this is going to be awesome. But when I tell y'all, he got in his feelings so fast because he don't want to date nobody that'll remind him just how old he actually is. And so he always trying to date these younger people because he feels like he's in his 30s. But your body every morning saying, sir, you like AARP old, okay? You gonna have to slow down when you getting up in the morning. Gotta give us some time to adjust. And so he tries to play her to the left, but she fine, y'all. And in real life, did y'all know that Lynn Whitfield was 71. She looked good for her age. So Bruce is still trying to find the perfect patient that will exemplify why he takes so much pleasure in what he does. But he ends up running into this second patient that looked like he joined the Aryan Brotherhood as soon as he learned how to, damn it, talk. Yeah. He was like, oh, it's so good to see a white doctor. His words, not mine, y'all. He was like, yeah, no, let's not leave that in. Let's cut that. Let's cut all of that right there. So Alex tries again to go talk to Joyce. And this time she goes in by offering peanut butter crackers as a way to suggest that maybe Joyce should take a few minutes to cry out her emotions, okay? But Joyce is forever the constant professional. And so she was like, look, girl, I'll do that when I get off the clock in my own home, in my own closet. Because Alex was like, you should go in the closet and just cry for about 5 minutes, because that's what I do when I'm really sad at work. I mean, which is good. Y'all ain't, y'all got to have somebody there too. It's really rough working in the medical field, losing people sometimes. And so Joyce was like, girl, that's real unprofessional. Okay, but I will do that in the comfort of my own closet in my own home. Thank you. And put them damn peanut butter crackers in the trash. Them for sad folks. And in my head, I'm thinking, Alex, you bet not, because a hungry patient may want them. They not out the wrapper. The wrapper seal has not been broken. So what are we doing? You just wasting peanut butter crackers like that? She threw them in the trash, y'all. She threw them in the trash and she walked away. So then after she leaves out, the cameraman stays behind because Joyce got the blinds open, and Joyce tried to cry a little bit, and then she gathered herself. She tried to cry a little bit more, and then she gathered herself, and then she just full blown, just let the tears flow. So she needs Alex to come fix this right now before they meeting start. Now, while that's happening, everybody's at lunch and they're trying to see why Ron won't give Grandma Lynn a shot. Okay. And he says that he just won't. But you missing out on a real chance at love because you feel like you too damn old to evolve and try something different. And he was like, no, I'm not going to give y'all the satisfaction. I'm not. Just won't. So in his confessional, on his side interview, he says that he's dated women, but the ages kept getting lower and lower as he was explaining his choices to us. And so he said that the last girlfriend he had was 40-something, but she wanted to go back to school to get her master's degree. Okay, cool. You need time to get yourself together, self-improvement. I love that, girl. Work on you. Knowledge is power. The next one was 38, and she was cool too, but she wanted kids. Been there, done that. I ain't trying to start over, girl. I'm somebody's granddaddy. I ain't trying to be nobody's daddy. Do you hear me? Not at this big age. And then the last one was 35, and she was just loud. She was loud and real immature. So no, It's time for you to change your way of thinking, Ronnie Pooh. It's time. So Alex and Joyce are waiting on the meeting to start, and Alex suggests again that maybe Joyce should be open and honest with the rest of the crew about what's going on with her today emotionally. And she is a little bit nervous to do that because she tends to go overboard. But when she actually gets on the phone call, they're exchanging pleasantries, asking her how she's doing. And she was like, oh, I'm doing good. And then she looked at Alex and she was like, you know what? Actually, I'm not doing good today. I lost my instructor. I lost my mentor. And yeah, I may have had feelings for him. I might have been in love with him a little bit, but he was really important to me. And I was like, ma'am, you said you was a little bit in love with him after you just saw his wife in the hallway grieving? Girl, get it out of here. Goes completely off the rails. And she ventures into sharing experiences in her past relationships But she does finally sneak in those final quarter numbers that she was supposed to be working on with Alex this whole day. So at least we got the point across. Now, Ronnie goes to talk to Grandma, and they hit it off really well, right? They're laughing and giggling, and she like pickleball, and he do too. He ain't into all that extreme stuff like he lied about earlier to kind of sway her off, but, I'm going to say what the hell. And so he's getting ready to ask her out, but he has to backtrack so many times because he keep using all these offensive synonyms to describe her age and the fact that she is older than him. And so he tried his luck, y'all. He tried, it went left. So now he's back to the online dating. It's a damn shame. So Joyce gathers everyone together in the conference room again to let them know that it's okay to share your personal life with the professional teams that you work with every day. And you can do this if you're having an especially rough day and you just need somebody to talk to. Okay, so she shares her loss with them, and she plays Lean on Me in her instructor's honor. Now, as she's playing the song on the marimba, we cut back to Bruce, who shares his own tragic story of the day that he lost his dad. He was at a performance, and normally his dad is front and center, but this particular day his dad never showed, and it threw him off really bad. Now, although they still won the game, I believe, once he got finished with the game, he got the tragic news that his dad had passed away from a brain aneurysm, aka a stroke. Okay. And so he dedicates his work to each patient in his dad's honor, because you just never know when your ticket is going to be called, when you going to have to go and you can't look back. And so we cut back to Joyce as she finishes the song. And of course, everybody wants to applaud her because she did a really good job with the song. But as they're trying to get up, they have to sit back down very awkwardly because she starts to play another song. And she probably played another song after that. And that's the way the episode is, y'all. It's cute. It's cute. I enjoy it so far. Now, what I would like to see is more patient-related stuff. But, I mean, we got to keep it medical staff oriented. We gotta figure out what's going on with them. So that's the way that ends. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it, okay? Oh, I forgot to tell y'all where y'all can find this show. This is on Peacock. Actually, it's on NBC. Let me correct myself. It's on NBC for all you cable people out there, okay? But for the streaming girlies like myself, it's on Peacock. All right? I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. I hope you guys have a safe weekend, okay? Shout out to my uncle. My Uncle Reggie just had a birthday. Happy birthday to you, all right? We got a couple more November babies popping through here towards the end of the month. And that's that, y'all. Y'all be safe out there. And until we meet over the airwaves again, I am Mo, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.